over the past 4 summers, we've had construction going on, whether it was the locker room project, coach's office, players lounge, and then this summer, the shrinking of the rink and the new ice plant. I think it's going to be that's going to be a bigger, it's going to have a bigger impact on us than lots of people might think. When I got to Northern, I was recruiting to our rink, and I think that helped us have a great home record. But I don't necessarily know that I was recruiting to our league. And now with the ability to shrink the rink and into a hybrid, we're going to be able to recruit not only to our rink but to our league. And I think that'll be a benefit to us. In terms of this year's team, there is a hunger with this group that is palpable. You can feel it, and it's not a coach driven hunger. It's a player driven hunger, led by our leadership group, and it's probably as strong of a leadership group we've ever had. And the leaders of that are our captains, Artem Schlading, Gallagher, and Andre Gontos. And there's just a different feel about where we're at. Even though you can never continue from the year before, you always start anew. I think that the idea is to try continue the same process. We were a very day-to-day driven team down the stretch when we were playing our best hockey. We weren't worried about what was happening in the future. We weren't worried about the past. We were only worried about today. And I get a sense that there's a lot of that with this group. I also feel that defensively, that's kind of been an area that we haven't been as strong as I would have hoped over the past few years. I think with returning 6 defensemen and returning our 2 goalies, and I think even the commitment level from the group of forwards, I think we're going to be able to defend as a group of 5 more. Hopefully we're able to win games, some nights where we don't have our offense. And in terms of team depth, I think we have, going to have some really hard decisions at, both the forward group and with our defensemen, and those are good issues to have. So, through the 3 weeks of practice, I've been very pleased with where our team's at.
All right. Thank you, Grant. We have a question from Dave Ellis. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Coach. Want to talk about your 2 guys that come in the transfer portal, Jack Perbix and Mitch Dealstra, 2 guys that were big parts of teams before, not perimeter or peripheral players. These were big parts of where they came from. How do they fit in right away and give you what you need to make that push over the top?
Yeah, I think both of them, have great college hockey experience. I'll start with Jack. When Jack gets on the ice, you can see his talent. He's got size, he can skate, he's got a good stick, he's got a good hockey sense. And the thing with Jack that we're talking about is being able to play the minutes that we're going to ask him to play. He's going to play more minutes than he's ever played, both sides of the puck. And that's an area that we've kind of been focusing on with Jack. And with Mitch, Mitch is he's just a big, strong kid. He can really shoot a puck. He's kind of, when you look at our lineup, left-handed shooters, he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 guys who can shoot a puck over there. So, working in and trying to find, ways to use that strength of his and whether it's power play or getting them, maybe a face-off play or 2. They're just really, they're both going to be good additions for us.
Tim.
Coach Tim Rapley from Flow. If you don't mind, can you talk about Andre Gontus, not just his offense, but some of his intangibles, penalty killing, face-offs? What does he bring in addition to those big offensive numbers?
I mean, I think you touched on it. I mean, he's a complete player for us. He's maybe our best penalty killer. He plays 4-on-4, up a goal, down a goal. Very smart player. You know, there's stretches each year where I feel like Andre is the best player in the league over, you know, whatever X number of game stretch. Led the league in scoring as a sophomore. I think he finished second in scoring last year. You know, we're just an area with Andre is I think he's focusing on his consistency and trying to bring that level of play over the course of a whole year. Now, obviously that's never going to be possible, but you know, that's an area that Andre has been focusing on, and you can see it. You know, you can even see in practice that he's been very consistent in his approach to practice each day. So, you know, that's a good sign for us.
Trent, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Trent Singer with the Rink Live. You know, you got your defenseman Josh Singer got some preseason love yesterday, and what do you like about where he's at, just kind of heading into this season?
I think the one thing to remember is that Josh has only been a defenseman for 2 years. You know, he became a defenseman his last year of junior hockey, and then last year, not only was he transitioning into college hockey, which is a big step for any player, but transitioning into college hockey while learning a new position. You know, the way he can defend today versus the way he was able to defend last year, you know, he's much stronger. He feels, you know, he understands spacing and timing a little bit better. You know, so I think that's improved drastically. The offensive side of Josh is can kind of pull you out of your seat skating. And, you know, he's got a drive, and he's got a hunger. And, you know, the assistant coaches were kind of teasing him a little bit. You know, when he was watching the playoffs, watching Bouchard from Edmonton, and Bouchard can really shoot a puck. And they were telling Josh, we expect you to be at 90 miles an hour next year when you get back. And, you know, even though they were kind of poking at him a little bit, Josh is such a worker, and he spent the summer obviously working on that because that's improved drastically. And, you know, I think Josh is poised to have a really big year.
Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave Ellison, TV6 and Fox UP and Marquette. Coach, you've been knocking on the door so many times the last couple of years and just not able to make that last step. What's the one thing that you want to impress on your guys that, look, we can be close again, guys, but here's what's going to take to go that next mile and get us through the door and where we want to be?
I think with this leadership group in particular, their hunger to take that next step is equal to mine and to our staff. So, you know, I kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning. We're just taking a day-to-day process. Let's be better tomorrow than we've been today. If we do these 4 or 5 things, the outcome is where we need it to be. You know, and not trying to get so far ahead of ourselves that, you know, we're trying to do, you know, qualify for this or win this or win, you know, just kind of putting ourselves in a position that, you know, each day we're getting better and more consistent is been the best approach for us, and we're going to stay with that.
All right, last one from Garrett, unless Alexis wants to ask her question. Go ahead, Garrett.
Hey, Grant, Garrett Seawright from 100.3 The Point. Glad to connect with you here. Just going back to Josh, you mentioned, you know, he's early in his development as a defenseman. How long of a process does that take, and how exciting is it that he's at, you know, a preseason all-conference level this early into that development?
Hi, Garrett. In my experience, I think it usually takes about 2 years for somebody to be fully comfortable playing the position. You know, and Josh is like, he maybe expedited that a little bit. He's the type of player that he's on the ice an hour after practice, and then he's in the weight room an hour, you know, after he's already worked out once, you know, early in the day. So, you know, Josh has maybe expedited that a little bit because all the extra reps he's taken. But when you have a defenseman that is that mobile, you know, with that skill set, it allows you to do some things in the power play that that maybe you couldn't do with, you know, with some other guys, and especially because of Josh's feet. So, you know, I know that we're looking forward to, you know, to getting with him there. But the thing for Josh or for Benny or for Andre or for Artem Schlane or whoever it is, you know, I don't think coming into the year we're trying to put a bunch of expectations on here's what you need to do. They just need to be the best version of themselves, and hopefully that's better than that what they were last year, you know. And you know, and no different for Josh. You know, it's just try to be better than you were last year, and we will try to put you in the best position that, you know, your ability can shine.